Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Joanna Molina. I'm one of the co-founders of the Intern Group. Here at the Intern Group, we help you realize your potential through international internship programs. We offer them remote, hybrid, or in person for talent all around the world. So we invite you to take a look at our website. You can find out different internship programs and offerings. And also you can feel free to send an application form and you can chat with one of our admissions consultants. Today's topic is about how to shape your career after an internship. And there is absolutely many pathways that a person can take. Some might go back to school, some people might take a gap year. So it doesn't have to be about going straight into job hunting, but we absolutely understand how difficult it is, the in-between stage, and can be. Also, we want to give you more ideas about what to do and advise how to navigate this stage in life by listening to the stories of our panelists today. So also don't forget that if you're at university, career services offices also have loads of resources, so take a look at those as well, and don't feel alone on this journey, and ask for help wherever you can. So now let's jump into introducing our speakers. I'm very excited to introduce you our amazing speakers today. We have Angie, we have David, we have Maura. If you have any questions for our speakers during the event, you can pop them into the chat, or you can also ask anonymously using the Slido that we just posted there. So if you use that link, we won't see your name. If you are shy, if you want to put it there, don't worry. So let's start off getting to know each of our speakers. Let's start with you, Angie. Welcome to our panel today. Please, if you could give a little introduction about yourself. What internship did you do? What are you currently doing?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Angie. I'm originally from Australia. Um, and I did my internship in 2024. I think it was like in January. And I did a finance internship. So that was on my third and final year of uni, my bachelor's degree. Um, and I was like, oh, I should probably do an internship, to get some experience. I'm currently so after graduation, after doing my internship, I'm currently in Japan. So I'm currently working full time in Japan at the moment. But I think, like, I guess if you ask me, like, the period between, I guess, finishing the internship and then, finding a job, I think for me, it was like the main purpose why I did my internship was because I wanted to find out if finance was the path I wanted to take. Because especially, like, when you're in uni, when you're studying, on textbooks and stuff, you don't really get to feel, the hands-on experience. So that's why I went to Japan to do it. And then after my internship, I realized I actually really, really hate finance. I don't want to do finance, but I really, really like, I guess, the global aspect of being in Japan. And because, like, I do know Japanese as well, so that's why after I graduated, I decided let's go more, I guess, to the global international route. So I came to Japan, and found a job here that's not in finance. So I guess that's a little bit about myself.
That's amazing. And we'll dive deeper into that story because that's precisely also what we want to understand. Not always the story is about, okay, and I love it and I keep loving it and I keep loving it. And so put a pin there. David, tell us about you. Where are you from? Where did you do the internship?
Yeah, hello everyone. So nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you, Joanna, like other speakers and the fellow participants. Like I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I'm currently based in Hong Kong. I had I'm also having my job in Hong Kong, but I tried an internship in Japan, but and also in New York City. So the the internship in New York City was given by the like TIG, the intern group. And the reason why I participated in was mainly because of my personality or like my heart in finance, you know. I was also like kind of like hoping to discover more about the different aspects in finance, and I would say New York is definitely a great hub for the people who have some sort of, you know, finance dream or whatever. And after my internship, I also had a full-time job in Hong Kong, which leads me in an audit and accounting role in the Big Four accounting firm. So I would say it is a very big credit to TIG, which really allows me to have such a great opportunity to get into some roles that I couldn't believe I could have before stepping into a place with more opportunities and also international exposures. So really great to see you all guys. And if you like have any questions about like how to bridge into a different cultural places, like the places with different cultural aspects or whatever, just feel free to hit me up. Yeah, basically it.
Amazing, David. Well, I must say, having just been in Hong Kong last week, I feel like I haven't just arrived home. Half of my heart is still there. What a beautiful place you live in.
Thank you.
Maura, how about you, Maura? Tell us about your experience and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. It's a pleasure to have this interesting conversation with my fellow speakers. So I'm based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Always born and raised here. I studied advertising and public relations here too. And I think that I would say that I'm a fan of internships. I did three while I was at university. As Angie said, I think that my part of my goal was understanding what I liked because of course, all degrees and all careers have a lot of paths that you could take. So I think that it's very important to take a little taste of all of the paths that you can take and then decide where do you want to follow. So that was my case. So I think that I started doing internships halfway through the career. And the last one that I did was when I entered TIG, August 2023. I was in the last semester of uni and well, it didn't end up being just an internship. I'm still here 2 years after. So yeah, it's been an interesting path, but I think that what I can highlight at the moment is the importance of doing different internships before finding where you want to stay.
Amazing. And we are so lucky to have you in the team more. I would love to learn also more about like that journey into going into an internship and actually making it a full-time job. Wonderful. So let's dive deeper then on and go back to you then, Angie. So you just said I went to Japan, or you are already there. So I came to Japan. I did an internship in finance, and I didn't like it at all. Tell us more about that. How was that process of feeling like this is the career that I thought I was going to have? I just experienced it. It's not what I thought it would be.
Yeah. For me, it was actually, I guess, I think I probably, throughout uni gaslighted myself into liking finance, I would say, because I think the reason why I took the degree was because, it's a high paying job, whatever. But then when I actually, got into, um, I guess doing in an office and stuff, I realized I don't really like just being behind the screen crunching numbers. I would rather, have more like, communication aspect. And then I think it was like after that, I was like, well, damn, because I'm in my third year of uni. I'm about to graduate in 6 months. And then I'm only now realizing I don't want to um, pursue finance. I was like, that's not really a good thing, yeah. But then I guess it was like throughout the internship because when you take an internship, you meet so many people, from so many different countries, so many different backgrounds as well. And then I guess like everyone basically has like different struggles or different experiences. So like I guess throughout my internship, being able to talk to everyone, getting like I guess like support or like mentorship from like I guess my peers as well made me realize okay, so I'm not going to do the finance aspect. What am I going to do? And then, as I said before, I really enjoyed the global communication aspect. I enjoyed being in Japan. So that's why I made the decision to just take the risk. Because I know if I continue down the finance route, I'm going to like hate life forever. Yeah. So I decided I'll take the risk. I'll go back to Australia, graduate, finish my degree, and then come back to Japan and find opportunities here. Because I feel like, especially in Japan, it's much easier to find a job if you have a bachelor's degree. And I guess if you have a certain knowledge of Japanese as well. So I guess I took the risk, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I was like, let's just take the risk. Let's go for it. So I think for TIG, it really, I guess I am really grateful because it's because of you guys that, I realized I'm not going to go down finance. Otherwise, if I didn't take my internship, I would probably be, upset in Australia, crunching numbers away in finance. But yeah.
I can relate to you because actually that's part of my story. So I fully understand the feelings you went through. But super interesting that you actually found a job in a new country. How was that process? Because you made it sound really easy, but it probably
Um,
wasn't that easy. So let's tell us how was that
yeah.
process?
So I came back to Japan first on a student visa. So I was in a language school for around like 6 months, just because it's getting a foot to Japan makes it much easier to find a job. And then it's a really small world actually, because my my current company I got hired at, so I'm currently working at a recruiting firm in Japan. So my boss, my current boss, knows my boss from my internship. So I guess there was like that kind of, I guess, relationship. So when I applied for my current job, I guess my profile stood out because my current boss knows, you know, my old boss. So I guess it was through that probably that I just happened to get really, really lucky and, get my current job. But yeah, I guess that's my story.
Thank you for sharing, Angie. And I encourage everyone here also, if you have additional questions, put them in the chat or in Slido. And in the meantime, we'll move into David. So, David, you went to New York. You did other internships as well. Tell us more about that transition as well into, first of all, how was being in a different culture, such as New York from Hong Kong? And then how was that transition back into where you are now?
I think I honestly, I think I got a bit cultural shock when I first came to New York because like Hong Kong, like many people may think that Hong Kong is kind of a diversified society, but instead, perhaps like in some aspects, there are some sort of conservative values that prevail in Hong Kong. So New York is more free, and New York has more um, New York respects everybody's choices. So I think it like the internship didn't really change my mind in stepping into a finance field, but it really changed my personality or mentality when it comes to overcoming the difficulties, when it comes to like dealing with the people in different cultures, or like respecting the different people in like different societies. So this is basically the biggest reward that I had in New York. And apart from that, I would say the transition in New York to like the transition, I think I didn't have so much of transition period of my life, but like I wouldn't say my life is like very smooth, but like I the roles that I built has accomplished me in a better way. So I would say like the time in New York has really equipped me into into a better life with more technical skills, and also the skills the soft skills that you have to have when you are going to the finance field, like communication, interpersonal um skill set or whatever. So that's basically it.
Amazing, David. Congratulations on that. How long did it take you to get this new job at one of the big fours?
Oh, sorry. Can you say it again?
Yes. How long did it take you for you to get this new job, and how was that process?
Hmm.
Like interviewing, everything.
Okay. So first of all, I had my internship back in 2024 when I had my third year of bachelor degree. And after that, I continued to study. I think many of like many people perhaps might think having an internship during a semester would be awful, but I didn't really think so if you have a like better time management, like you could swap your classes or to land into another internship after that. So I had I also had like applied to um several finance jobs that specializing in different concentrations. So the internship I had was like the private equity in Hong Kong and also the auditing and accounting firm, which are pretty renowned. And I had a very good like connection there. So I think breaching wasn't that difficult when you have enough confidence to overcome the difficulties and get yourself equipped with the interviewing skill set. So
What were the
that's it.
difficulties, David?
The difficulties, for me, I think it's the preparation of the interviews. You really have to dive deep into the industry-wise information. So perhaps as we all know, like we are just intern, we might not have enough experience, but what really amazed um what really amazes people or the employers perhaps are your attitude or your personalities to overcome the difficulties. So just show your personality, just be genuine in in the interviewing scenario. That would be a good and the most honest way for you to get inside successfully.
Great, really great advice, David. Thank you for sharing. And let's move on then to Maura. Tell us more about your experience. 3 internships. How was that transition? Some of the challenges you faced.
Yeah. So the first one came as a surprise because I was doing like a subject called investigation or markets investigation or something around that. And I was having excellent notes. So the teacher offered me an internship inside of the university in the Department of Investigation. So I took it. It was like the second year of my degree of the second of 4 years. So I was like, well, maybe it's too early to start doing internships, but well, I will take this offer. So for a semester, I was working with her. I've learned a lot and I really enjoyed it, but it had a lot of numbers and I not my favorite topic, okay? Same as Angie, like numbers, no, no thanks. So I really enjoyed it, but I said, okay, maybe investigation, it's not my field. Then after a year, I would say most of the people in third year of my degree were starting to do an internship, so I started applying too. My university had a lot of agreements with different companies here in Argentina, so in that sense, it was a little bit easier for me to have like a second first, but a second internship, but outside of the university this time. So I entered in MedLife, big company in the communications team. And I was like internal communication intern. It was a huge company, but my team it was only my boss and me. So it was at some point I felt like I was doing something and it was helpful. I was sending like the internal communications regarding everything. But I wasn't noticing my real impact, or I was looking to do something bigger or with a little bit more of a bigger impact. That I could see the effect or something that it's more like life changing. I don't know. I wanted to feel more passionate about what I was doing. So I did a year there at MedLife, and I I decided not to like push too much to secure a full-time job there. I know that if I would have done different things or put myself out there a little bit more, maybe I could have secure a job there. But after a year of the internship, I was like, thank you, I'm looking for something else. Um, but appreciate the experience. Again, internal communication, maybe not for me. I still was looking for something else, and that's also something that I've learned on the way. Keep looking for something because it's gonna come. It doesn't have to be the first thing, and if it's the first thing that you don't like, it doesn't have to be either the second one. Maybe it's the third one, as it happened to me. So I found out about TIG in the last semester of my university, entered as a marketing intern, and from the second that I entered the company, I fell in love with what they did. And that was also one of the things that I've noticed that was different from the other two experiences is that, okay, I already love what the company does. So that's also something that I wasn't considering because sometimes when you apply for a role, you only think of, okay, what would be doing? Like what are going to be my tasks, my projects? But in this case, it was different because I already fell in love with the company itself. Like I didn't even care if it was on marketing in another team or whatever, but I loved Take itself. So since I started my internship, my focus turned into, okay, how can I secure a job here? Because I really like what they do and I want to build career in this place. So yeah, I think that of course then I can develop later on a little bit more on my journey inside Take. But yeah, that was my internship jump until I got here.
More as a fantastic story. What would you say there was that like biggest uncertainty that you faced during that period between internship and actually securing a job?
Um, I would say finding my value. Because I think that when you are an intern, you understand that you are there to learn, and like everyone will be super patient and everyone will be teaching you different stuff and that. But when I noticed that I wanted to secure a full-time job and I needed to do something about it, because the internship was gonna end at some point, I started like questioning myself of, okay, but do I have the skills required to turn into a full-time employee? Is there something unique that I can add to this company? Do I have a differentiator that only I can offer in this role? So I think that that was my biggest uncertainty or fear, if I'm being honest. Like um, like finding, yeah, what's something that only me can offer in this position. So I would say that skill validation was a huge thing in the transition. And I think that there may be certain questions that you can do in that journey, like, okay, what's something that makes me as a special asset for this company? What's something that I've been doing during the internship that my bosses highlighted it, or something that I was recognized for, or even ask your friends like what like things you see from my personality that think that it makes me unique. And I think that that's something that we always bring to the workplace. It's not like there's life on one side and us when we work on the other hand. I think that we're the same person with the same personality and same characteristics that we bring everywhere. So I think that's also a nice thing to ask also to your loved ones and friends to see, okay, tell me what's something that I can like bring to the table and show my value through that. So I would say that was something that I struggled with.
Very deep, and I love it because it's also the journey, an internal journey, right? Like understanding yourself will allow you to then have better opportunities. And on that note, you also said, David, that being in New York allowed you to completely experience a new culture and open up your like mindset. But tell us more about those struggles. What were those like the biggest uncertainty, if you may, that you faced during that period from internship to your job?
Let me think about that. I think I definitely had like some sort of struggles during the internship and after the internship. But like, okay, first of all, they're different. Like during the internship, you had to manage the relationship around you. You had to like be genuine. You have to like flex your muscles and like explicitly, if you're aiming for a return offer, of course, yeah, you have to explicitly showcase your talents and the skill sets that you think that employers need you to have. And but after the internship, if you like Mora or Angie, if they wanted to like step into different fields or different roles, definitely you have to like build a good connection or have a good networking skills, like in terms of like how you can be like unburdened by what you have been. So for me, like after my internship, I also applied for several graduate jobs. I wouldn't say they are pretty successful because I wouldn't say they are successful because like most of them just fail at the end of the day. But I wouldn't say that was my failure or whatever it is. Perhaps it is just not a good match to my role or to my personality or skill set. So if you have some sort of struggling feeling inside your heart when you are facing the current employment situation right now, so just don't be so frustrated about, oh, I'm not going to get my job, oh, I'm not going to have another internship because other competitors are so talented. What really like makes a good improvement on yourself is to have a good attitude to face the difficulty or to face the um, hurdles that um, really challenges you in your life. So I mean, there are more to be challenged in your life. Like I I think I think life is not just about job or uh finding a good salary, high paid jobs. Instead, it's like it's I think it's a thing for you to discover more in your life and not just about like, oh, I have to get this I have to ace this, I have to get this job before the end of my semester or the end of my university. So that's basically my feeling after having all like getting through about the job hunting processes.
And that's beautiful, David, that you share it because that's a very important struggle we all go through when looking for jobs is we're going to have a lot of rejections and being rejected is not easy. But if you approach it with that attitude and growth mindset, as you just mentioned, saying like, yeah, maybe you get rejected multiple times, but finally you landed in a place where you feel like that's your place, similar to what you said, Mora, is like it is your place, and it is that rejection or those multiple rejections that's don't can diminish your value essentially, which is what I'm
Can I?
understanding from you. Of course,
Yeah, can I add something? That 100% I love what David said and how deep this conversation is going. This is my favorite conversations. So I was going to say that in the between of working at MedLife and entering TIG, I did an interview at Adidas, and at that time it was like my dream job. I remember like being so nervous for the interview. I did my best. I put in a presentation. I did everything I could on my side, and I didn't get the job. And as you said, Joanna, it's hard to be rejected, but I think that also linked to what David said, it's an opportunity to discover other things that will come up, like more related to life in general, not only in the job aspect that I wouldn't have landed TIG and being where I'm now if I wouldn't have been rejected at that point at Adidas. And I'm thankful that I was rejected at that point because I'm sure that the person that took that job was more um yeah, perfect for that role than me because I was meant to be a ticket after a few months. So I would say that that's also something that you learn on the process that those rejections are also like good things that happen in the path until you land where you need to be. So yeah, I wanted to share that.
I love it because I think we all, while you are being rejected, it's absolutely horrible. I was also in finance before, and there was this opportunity to be promoted between quite a few of us. And I did say, okay, do I go to London, which it was one of my dreams, or do I stay here? And I say, if I don't get this job, then I move out and I go to London. So sometimes, and that's what led me to meet David, create the Intern group, etc., etc. And so sometimes being rejected, not getting that promotion was quite hard for me, very heartbreaking, because I was doing my best for it, but it led to something fantastic as well. So it's about that bigger picture. Angie, what were your struggles?
I think it's the same as me. Because I applying for jobs in Japan, I guess it might be a little bit different from the rest of the world. But the procedure takes a long, long time. Sometimes like 3, 4 interviews. I applied for so many companies. And I guess I was like getting desperate as well. I think it kind of relates to, I guess, Marina, what your question is asking. But I was on my student visa, and then my student visa was, I guess, well, first of all, I was going poor. I needed to get a job to get money. And I didn't want to, I guess, stay on a student visa. I was like, I want to find a job. So I spent around like, how long? 2 months, basically every day applying for every single position ever. And I did so many interviews, and I remember I got to an interview stage. It was like the final round, and I was like, I'm so confident I'm going to get this role. But I ended up not getting it, and I was like, but why? Because everything went so well, process went so well, then I suddenly got rejected. But yeah, I had a lot of rejections. I probably went to like 20 interviews. Just to be rejected by them all, until I found my current company, which I really, really like. So it's the same as like, I guess, like what you guys have been saying. It's just like, be prepared to be rejected. But rejection isn't the end of the world, because being rejected just means you'll find something even better, afterwards. Yeah. But I wanted to answer, Marina, your question as well.
Please do. And so for everyone who might not be
internship.
reading, so what Marina is asking is about how do you actually get a sponsorship? Because from all of you, you are the only one that is living like in a country that is not your own home country. So how do you do that? How do you secure that someone wants to sponsor your visa, which normally doesn't necessarily happen for entry-level jobs, or is harder for entry-level jobs? So tell us about that process.
I think I know some people, some interns, who have been offered, I guess full-time jobs, but it's very rare. Marina, I honestly think rather than focusing on, oh, I need to get a visa, is you need to focus on what job you want to do, because there's no point of getting a visa and like not enjoying the job you want to do. So I think if you do an internship, don't go in with the mindset of I need to get a visa sponsorship from this position, but keep it open. Don't close it completely, but also definitely at the same time prioritize I guess the networking side, because honestly I feel like in this day and age networking, it goes a long way. But yeah, and then but just don't, I think, worry less about the visa sponsorship and focus more on, I guess, what job you want to do, and then go from there. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very helpful. In terms of building those relationships or networking strategies, what will you say has worked best for you to secure a role in that same city where you did the internship?
I think for me, is get to know your company. I guess get to know your boss of your internship well. I'm like, don't exactly suck up to them, but if they see that you're trying hard, if they can see that you're actually, you can bring value to the company, then more than likely they will offer you a sponsorship. But I think it's good to keep in mind as well, internship, it also really depends on the company, because a lot of smaller companies, they're not able to I guess sponsor these visas, so it really depends on the company.
Do you think it's easier to get a job after an internship?
Yes, definitely. Because just having, I guess, the global experience in general, already puts you so much higher than I guess all the other candidates who have not had the global experience. You have the hands-on experience as well, so definitely I think internship is worth it.
Amazing, Angie. Mora, how about you? So we have a few questions here on your experience, and when do you start like having conversations around converting your internship into a full-time job? Like, how was that process? How did you stand out as an intern? Everything that you can tell us on that process of securing a job in the same company that you did the internship at.
I think that going back to my biggest struggle at the moment, that was skill validation, right? Like knowing if I would have the skills to turn into a full-time job. I noticed that inside of the company, there were a lot of people doing like free courses, sharing resources. Like everyone was like sharing things about things that they were learning while they were doing their job. So I said like, well, maybe that's something that I can tell my boss, like, where are the points that I can grow, learn while I finish my internship? And in the meantime, I showed that I want to learn, that I'm proactive about it, that if there's a place that I need to like, or a skill or something that I'm a little bit weak at, I'm definitely willing to do like take some time of my working hours to do a course about it and stuff like that. So I think that that was my number one action, like, okay, let's upskill in whatever my boss considers now that it's valuable so that I can be a valuable asset in the long term. So on one hand, I looked for myself for some topics that I was interested in. I proposed it to my boss and they said, okay, perfect, let's pay for that course. And I did like a training on Instagram. Then there was also a mentorship program inside TIG on the intern group. And I said, please, this is something that I can take part of. I want to go in, and my manager Hannah was super happy for my proactivity, and she definitely helped me to get me inside of that program. So I was trained for a few months with Rena, the head of the people team or HR team, on topics around cross-team collaboration, working with multicultural teams, leadership. So I would say that that was the action number one that I've taken was, okay, let's learn new things and things that will add more value to my profile, so that I can then offer something more valuable to the team. So that was the process of me already being full-time in the company, but not in the role that I'm now, that it's a manager, right? So I would say that that was the number one thing. And then related to networking, something that Angie mentioned, I think that it's super important, not only with people from your team and from people that are, I don't know, like other interns on other teams, but also like horizontal and vertical, sorry, the other side, vertical and horizontal networking inside of the company. So for example, I started having e-coffees, something that we do here at the intern group as we all work remotely. It's like casual meetings with people from other teams to understand what they do, understand better how the intern group works in general. What can I offer also to other teams? Like you, John, I remember having an e-coffee and you talking about the Alumni Ambassador program, how we would want to have like representatives around the world. And I was like, okay, that's something that marketing can help you with. So I think that also bothering the vision of, okay, not only what can I offer to the marketing team, but also to the company. And I think that that was something that was highlighted when I was offered the role that I'm into now. That is also a differentiator, like the soft skills of like building personal relationship with the interns, with the alumni, being part of the ambassador programs. I think that that's something that it's not only in the marketing team that we work on that. It's super valuable for other teams. We work with the other teams on these initiatives, and I think that's something that I discovered in these processes of understanding what can I add to the intern group, not only in the marketing team but also to other teams. So I would say that those are my top two: networking and upskilling continuously, like continuous learning.
That's wonderful. And when did you start the conversations about, okay, my internship is coming to an end? Where, like, where am I going to go? And is there a possibility for a full-time job?
I think that I was lucky at some point. I think that good things happen when luck and also skills come together, right? So I think that it's a mix of both. But at that point at the intern group, the marketing team was growing a lot. Like it was when I first joined as an intern, it was when the people that was already in the company started noticing the importance of a big and important marketing team inside of the intern group. So I was hearing like the conversations about what we were looking for, the goals of the company, what we were aiming. I was like in the global all hands or like the town halls, like every global meeting, I would pay attention to the needs of other teams, the needs of the positioning of the intern group. So I've started like to hearing, okay, where are the opportunities that I can be part of or help with? So I'd say that I don't know if it was like in the when I was finishing my internship, like I was doing like a performance review or something like that with my manager, and she asked me honestly, like, do you think that you can step into like a leadership role or something inside of the marketing team? Um, and at the moment, I remember being honest and saying like, I'm an intern. I can't ensure that I will be a super leader in a few months, but I'm definitely committed to becoming that if that's what you want from me. Because the question we were, as I said, like they were building the marketing team, and there were a lot of questions of should we hire someone with more seniority, like between Hannah, my manager, and Maura. Let's say like should we hire someone? And Hannah was super honest with me and said like, do you think you can turn into that position, or do you think you're not ready yet or it's too much for you? And I took that opportunity with the fear that involved and everything, but I said like this is a huge opportunity and she's being honest with me. I'm gonna be honest with her. I'm fully committed to learn and grow into that role. So as I said, I think that it was a mix of my proactivity and my attitude, but also the opportunities that came on the other side. But I think that yeah, being honest about your skills, what do you want to achieve, and um, yeah, you're if you're committed really with the company and what you want to grow inside that role, I think that it's very important. So I thank for that conversation that happened, and yeah.
Exactly. And I think being honest, good communication. And as you said, like each one of you will probably have that feeling when it feels like right to have the conversation. Just don't do it on the first week because it's like, okay, I just arrived. This is my first week at the internship. Can I have a job? Probably wait a little bit until you have shown a bit of your value, your talents, your personality, your own self there, and then have that conversation. I remember having one of the interns approach me, how do I get a job here? So she put together, she was also in marketing, and she put together a presentation for the company, an actual PowerPoint presentation, wrapping up the internship, everything that she learned, everything that she contributed, like actually like being very aware of the contributions that you make during your internship is really important. And that can be saving time, improving processes, getting new clients, loads of different things. And so she put the presentation together, saying essentially why the company should have her. So selling herself as well. And she got hired. It's been a long time and she's still working with that organization. And so it's never don't be afraid, because what I understand as well from Mora is there were benefits happening that you might also say, oh, I'm only the intern, therefore I shouldn't be part of that program. You are never only the intern. So that's also really, really key. I'm loving all the questions that we have. We have quite a lot. Moving into David. David, what specific resources did you use to secure the job that you have now?
I think it wasn't that easy, but like uh the thing that really secured my job offer was my capability to better flex my muscles in a certain field. How to say that is like I think society or a work environment is like a bucket. So there are many trunks around a bucket to make it like to store water or resources inside. So, but there are like perhaps there are long trunks, there are short trunks, and you could be one of the long trunks to help the whole team to to store more resources. So that was my skills like presenting to my recruiters that finally recruited me and landed me into my current position. I would say like perhaps it's like so many people are concerning about how can I get a visa? How can I get um, a graduate job eventually? I would say it really matters when you have enough like capacity to fulfill the requirement by the employers. For example, if you are like our perhaps take an example from my current company, we have a lot of internships or we have a lot of graduate jobs that welcome the people from other different countries and different backgrounds. Perhaps the people in like Southeast Asian countries, they could be a better fit into some like Southeast Asians engagements as well. So just place your position into the right place would be the most important one to land you in a successful way in a like eventually in your like at the end of the day. So I think perhaps like for the people who got rejected, it's it's not about like it's not about your fault. First of all, it's just about like something the skill set that the company required might not be a perfect match to what you could really explicitly showcase your talents and your capabilities. So that's my personal opinion on that. So basically it.
Thank you, David. And we have quite a bit of interest on New York. So we have quite a few questions for you, David, on
Okay.
learning more about your experience. So one is asking, David, could you please share more about your day-to-day life as an intern in New York? Will you recommend it as a place to intern and live? Another one is asking about like how far was your housing from the place you work at? So tell us more about that experience in New York. How is it as a city?
Yeah, like the New York internship offered by the T was actually quite fascinating to me. It wasn't just about the job details that I could have. Like New York is a big apple and it offers a very great finance opportunities as well. But apart from that, there are still much more than you thought that you could have in New York City. Like for example, you could have a very like good networking events with this participants in New York and TIG. And also like afterward, I usually like hang out with my friends that we still have our genuine connection after the whole program ended. So and also during my internship, like I, or if you want me to say more about my job details, I would say it wasn't that technical based, but instead communication matters most importantly. For example, like I don't think the employers would require you to have some sort of like nerdy technical skills when you are just an intern. So just be more confident to express your ideas, to express your feelings of work, and to like respect your colleagues and employers like in a mutual and also in a mutual reciprocity way to better uh, have a good rapport with your with your employee. So that's the key factor for you to have a good intern at the end of the day.
Yes, very, very true. And I'm loving this conversation. Can't wait. We gotten so far into it. And to start kind of wrapping up, I'd like to ask each one of you one question, and it's about any advice that you give to students on what they should start doing before their internship ends so that they can be better prepared for what is next. Maybe starting with you, David, since you are unmuted already.
Oh, okay. So, like, I would say it is my advice, but I would rather want to share my opinion on how people could finally like land in like successfully land in the job they wanted. Like I have several friends that really could land it in a very prestigious jobs that pe many people think of. Like they are not like exceptionally outstanding from my opinion. But what really like make them get into those dream job they wanted so much was like the communication skill, the networking that they always like eager to have, and also the passion in the industry. So I think if you equip these three attributes, I think you are not far from success. So that's my like suggestion or opinion, whatever, to the fellow participants.
Extremely valuable. Thank you, David. How about you, Angie?
Honestly, I would say just keep an open mind. Like take any opportunity there is. Like I know it might be like really daunting. It's like, oh, you don't know what to do, but like things will get better. Um, yeah. But quickly, I saw that there were a few questions in the anonymous chat I wanted to answer. What made you choose Japan as a country to do internship? First of all, I did exchange in Japan in high school. So I was like, oh, may as well come back to Japan to do my internship. I considered other countries, yes, but I decided to go with Japan just because I guess the familiarity of it. Also, did so I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to answer those questions. Did your internship help you get that job? Yes and no. I guess because as I said, I guess the relationship between my boss and my old boss, there was that thing. Um, but also, I think the reason why I decided to go into recruitment was because after Japan, after meeting people, I realized, as I said before, I want to do something where it's like people based, communication based. And then I realized recruitment is a really big thing in Japan. There's a lot of opportunities here. So I guess that's also one of the reasons why I decided to go down this field. But yeah, at the end of the day, keep an open mind, take any opportunity there is, and you'll get there.
Love that. And Mora.
Yeah, love those two advice. I'm taking notes. My advice would be, as I mentioned earlier, find your differentiator. I think that we are all different and we all have something unique that we can bring to the table. It's key that you know what is that in your personality that makes you different, so that you can highlight it in job interviews. Yeah, not only with the words, but also with attitude. So I would say, yeah, understand the why of why someone should choose you apart from others. Not in a sense of like competition, but in a sense of yeah, the unique person that you are. Find that key aspect that makes you different from others, I would say.
Thank you so much, Mora, David, Andy. I think we've reached the end, and I think we can all agree that it was a very meaningful conversation. Lots of nuggets, lots of opportunities and next steps for you. If you are looking for a job, if you're about to start an internship, then take all this in so you can make the most of it to get a job, or at least to have more clarity on the path, understanding that a lot of the things that might happen also it could be things that you don't like. And so that's also something that we want to emphasize. A lot of things might not be as you expected them to be, but they will, at the end of the day, will help you get to where you need to be, even if it doesn't make sense at the moment. These are all the links in, so you can connect with each one of our speakers today and with me. And as said, we are gonna be giving you a participation certificate. That's the link that you can click and be able to receive it. just as a closing comment, okay, perfect. This is how you can connect with each other. Thank you so much, everyone, for your generosity, for all your sharing your experiences in such an honest and open way. And I look forward to seeing you all in another space very soon in one of our events. So keep a close look to our social media, because we have more coming up. Thank you, David. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Maura. And thank you, everyone who connected today.